This is a Rogue Media Network production.
Stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas, the prairie skies are wide and high. Deep in the heart of Texas, deep in the heart of Texas.
Well, hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome to Bois, King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm still Rusty.
He's still Rusty. And the man in the middle is the reason we're here today. This is Mr. Gary Yap. Gary, thank you so much for being here. And
absolutely, we appreciate it, especially on such short notice.
You know, we had it planned. And then we realized that we had the time zone incorrect because you're in Arizona, I believe.
Yeah.
And we're in Texas, and I don't understand how people tell time in Arizona, just simply because it's always different, right?
Yeah, it's weird in Arizona. Yeah, Arizona's a weird, like they live on their own time frame. They're on their own time zone.
Yeah. Like kind of like North Korea, they're 30 minutes off. Everywhere. So. All right. Well, Gary, you want to give us maybe a little bit of background as far as what you've done in the King of the Hill universe, and then let's talk about our friend Jonathan. All
right. In the King of the Hill universe, I started as a storyboard artist. I was actually my desire in my entire life has always been just to be a comic book artist. I love comic books. I wanted I would have been happy with just my own comic. Mm-hmm. All I ever wanted. Didn't even have to be in color. My own little black and white comic where I could just do whatever I wanted. I didn't need to draw Spider-Man. I didn't need to draw Fantastic Four. I didn't need to work for Marvel or DC. I just wanted to do my own little comics, my own little way. And I was doing my own self-publishing thing at the time, and also working as a storyboard artist for kids back in the day. There were these things called, they don't exist anymore. They were called CD-ROMs. And some games were made. They were put on the CD-ROM, and you put the thing in the computer, and it wasn't nearly as smooth as the video gaming you got nowadays. It was a little clunkier.
Well, you had to put it in that drink holder too, right? You put the CD right there in that drink holder. Yeah. And
I was doing storyboards with an artist, for an artist named Mark Moralia.
Oh,
and I was inking his backgrounds for storyboards for, it was a game of some kind. I don't remember what it was.
Sure.
And was it Mark or I genuinely don't know. One of us came upon a storyboard test for the guy who does Beavis and Butthead. The guy who does Beavis and Butthead is going to be doing a new show. They're looking for storyboard artists. So we took he took the test, he got in, I took the test, I got in. We actually started relatively close to each other within a week or two, I want to say. Yeah. And I knew Mark from comic books as well. Mark was originally a comic book artist. And we got on this show, Storyboard Artists, by Mike Judge. And I want to say the first 4 episodes were already done. When I came in, Jay Francis was the recruiter and hired me, and started off as a storyboard artist with Husky Bobby. Husky Bobby was the first episode.
Oh, yeah. I like that one. Yeah, that's
storyboarded. And with the way they do it in King of the Hill is they divide an episode into, you get 2 commercial breaks. So you got Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. Yeah. And 3 different artists, usually a storyboard artist, the assistant director, and the director sometimes will basically just do the storyboard, or 2 storyboard artists and the assistant director.
Okay.
So Husky Bobby was my first storyboard, Act 1. So the beginning, the first 10 minutes or so, Husky Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started going. That was it. And you learn as you go. You know, that's my motto has always been, just learn as you go, get in there and learn as you go. I didn't have a whole lot of experience with animation aside from the storyboard stuff I was doing for the video game stuff. And yeah, that was it. That was how I got in.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Bobby was the first one. And for my first meeting, you do your storyboard, then you have your meeting with the director and the supervising director, who was Wes Archer. And they sit there and they pick your board apart, and then you go and revise it. And then when it's revised, then you go to Fox and you have your meetings and that kind of stuff. And my first board got fucking torn apart. Just which was probably necessary. Because the one thing I learned real fast was you have to not take anything personally, because you can go into a storyboard meeting and you're all proud of your storyboard, and then they're like, and they'll just nonchalant and go, let's change this, let's do this, let's try this. And you're just going, okay, so I really fucked that up. And they're like, no, you didn't mess anything up. This is just, we get in here, we toss all our ideas around, and we come up with a storyboard, and then we take it from there. And I learned a lot in terms of, they give you this cool little handout, and I'm sure it's circulated around the internet. They give you this cool little handout that Brad Bird made for the studio, which is all the do's and don'ts as far as your animation. Hank is like this, Peggy's like this. There are certain rules and regulations.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of like stuff that floats around on the internet that's like original stuff from that, where it shows how they're supposed to be drawn. And stuff like
that's the worksheet. Yeah, and then compositions. There's how to compose, and nothing like looking at Brad Bird rough storyboards, because man, that dude is incredible. And the advice they give you is storyboard this as though it's the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah,
that was the original edict, was this thing should flow like the Andy Griffith Show.
Huh. That makes total sense, though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely. I saw that you were
Husky Bobby was my first one, and then I went immediately. I think it was Husky Bobby, Husky Bobby. Second storyboard was Unbearable Blindness of Laying, which is where Hank goes blind for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Third was Firefighting We Will Go, which is where the guys become firefighters. And fourth one was Hank's Dirty Laundry.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the fifth one was the racetrack one, where Bobby gets with Jimmy Richard. The racetrack one where Bobby gets the job at the racetrack. I forget what that one.
The only one where Hank actually kicks somebody in the ass.
Kicks his ass. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's the ass kick at the end.
Those are such good episodes that you fired off there, though. I mean, all of those are such good,
it's
right?
Really neat, because you'll go on like the King of the Hill subreddit, and like the episodes that they talk about, I feel so lucky. I got to do those episodes. That was unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the episodes that you've done are like some of the most iconic episodes in the franchise. One of the episodes I know that you did, and I think it was specifically an image that you did, I saw on one of your social medias or something, was the Luann jumping on the trampoline with Buckley's Angel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't do that one. You didn't do that one?
I know. You?
Cindy Tang, I think, directed that episode. I remember I was asked what the best moment of King of the Hill was.
That's what it might have been.
And I thought that was one of the genuinely sweetest moments I think I'd ever seen on King of the Hill.
That was a good moment.
I think it's a super sweet moment, but I know that you were nominated for what is it, Aisle 9B?
Aisle 8A, which was Connie's first period.
Yeah, and honestly, to me, that shows everything you need to know about Hank. Being a father myself, and I don't know if you are, but you understand that. Especially I had one girl and we had 4 boys, so that poor girl. But to be able to just go out into the world and feel like you're defending her all the time, and to see him turn from this guy who has nothing to do with any of that because la 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 la, I can't hear you, to we're going to take care of you because this has to be done, and just and not feel bad about it, not feel weird about it or whatever. That tells you everything you need to know about Hank right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big one. That's a big one. So you were nominated for that one with what was your competition? Do you remember?
They don't tell you. It's interesting because those awards are treated very different than the other Emmys. They're and granted, it's been what, 30 years, 20 years, like so it's probably much different now. But I can tell you back then, I'm convinced this was so they wouldn't have to give the award out. They're what they would do is they do a day brunch, and you can. The nominees, and I think Stephanie Elliott was the one of the producers on the show, so she took me. And the gimmick is that every show nominates whoever they want, but that award isn't given out. At least back then, it wasn't given out unless the decision was unanimous. So it was basically almost this token, like we nominated you to show you, but the award probably won't give out because that has to be unanimous, and they don't really air any of those, and those are not that big a deal. And I didn't really care too much about it. I just got to say, I'm the storyboard artist. So, and I got a lunch out of it. But so I'm convinced those are just to stroke egos, and they probably never give those out because you got to be unanimous. No one's going to be unanimous on that thing. Everybody has
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
What award show has to be unanimous? That's crazy.
It was a weird thing. I don't know the politics behind it.
We would still be electing, I don't know, Ronald Reagan at this point.
Yeah.
We'd still be it's not quite unanimous yet.
So I took the nomination as something I can wear as a badge, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
No, that's still cool. Yeah. I mean, it's cool to be recognized.
It's in a weirder sense, it's almost like New York Times bestseller.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get that, that's great because it's a calling card. Does it really mean that much? No. But the being nominated or being on the list is better than even winning the thing.
Yeah.
So
it definitely sells books, if nothing else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me ask you just a couple more questions. The work environment there.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it? And since that, have you worked better, worse places?
Oh, okay.
All of that kind of thing.
I like the job.
Yeah.
I like the job. I like the people.
Yeah.
It was a bullpen it's like big with cubicles. Every artist had their own little cubicle area, and then directors had offices around. So basically, and all the directors were very approachable. All the directors were wonderful. John Rice was good to learn from. He was storyboard supervisor, I think. He had a lot of knowledge to impart. I got to work with a lot of people who would go on to do a lot of really cool things. Like Anthony Leoy went on to direct a bunch of stuff. Who was it?
Well, John Rice did something cool. I think he storyboarded the first episode of Family Guy.
John Rice has done a bunch of stuff. He
does some awesome stuff. Yeah,
that's what it was. It was another guy that worked in the office was this who came in after me was this young man named Dave Filoni, and Dave was really, really nice, and Dave was really fucking talented. Dave's one of those guys you can look at, like when you see where Dave is now.
Yeah,
there's no shock. Yeah. No shock. I remember they were doing an episode, the one where, hope I don't get this wrong, where Hank has to throw the football for
Oh, for but at Dallas Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah, help me out. Yeah, that episode where he
Yeah.
and he elects to do it rather
Yeah.
than and there's a sequence there where it's one shot and it's Hank throwing a football.
Yeah.
And I remember David, and I want to say Eric Elder, I think, went outside to the parking lot and they shot that. They shot that.
Yeah, sure.
And because Dave was a real stickler about getting things right, you could tell in his attention to detail. And it was always really cool because there were certain artists. Wes was another one who was a kind of a savant. They'll be like, I just want to do this sequence. Let me do this sequence. You know, there were certain sequences they wanted to do. Like, I eventually became an assistant director, and I assistant directed for Wes, which is pretty invaluable.
Yeah.
And we did it was the episode To Kill a Ladybird.
Oh yeah.
And I was the AD on that one, and I storyboarded, I forget which act, might have been the second act. But there's a scene there where Ladybird and Bandit actually get into it. There's an actual shot of them getting into it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's like one of the examples where Wes goes, this is my scene. I'm just going to do this. And Wes was one of those guys. I'm sure this story's been told a million times. Wes is the guy who animated the Who Killed Mr. Burns sequence, and he was the one guy that they let do that.
Yeah.
When only one person could do that sequence to keep it Wes is that guy. Wes got the job on King of the Hill because Mike Judge owed him. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those things where it's like, and Wes is one of those guys who was really, really, really intimidating because, and I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. I don't think I should, but Wes had to have a little bit of the autism in him, you know, as Tristan would say, he had a little touch of the tism.
Sure.
Because the way he looked at the world was very different from the way everybody else did. And you could be in a room with Wes and he's kind of not there. He's just doing this.
Yeah.
And he's kind of lost thinking about something.
Yeah.
And you go, what are you thinking about? And he'd just be thinking about a sequence and he would go off and he would do it. And you kind of had to learn how to work with his, sometimes he's going to be just distant and doing his own thing.
Sure.
God damn, he was talented. He can make shit move. And that's the thing about those guys, because his brother also worked as director, Martin.
Oh.
Martin Archer. He was the one that was there. There was a prisoner.
Martin was the Husky Bobby director. And Martin said he knew when they were kids, because Wes would sit there and just watch cartoons and be transfixed by them. And he goes, you knew he wanted to make cartoons. Like that was the only thing he lived to do. And that's the thing about animation. The guys who were really, really good, and I don't consider myself one of those guys, but the guys who were really, really good, they ate it, they breathed it, they lived. It was the you can't see my hands, but it was the flipping of the papers. It was the making things move. There are some people who have that in their genes and in their blood. And
the flip book motion, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And they live for that.
Yeah.
I'm not that person. Like as much as I love the job. Yeah. Like I want to do comics. I like being my own boss.
You were a one shot guy. Yeah. I want these still frames where I can tell the story. Yeah. Yeah.
So the reason I never stayed was because it just wasn't like, animation is dangerous because it's fun and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're not careful, 10, 20 years can go by and the projects you want to do, never ever got to. But you've been working on this show, which definitely has been fun and paid well.
Sure.
But your soul is not necessarily nourished. And for me, it's always been about, I want the soul nourishment. And
Absolutely.
I've never, ever, ever, ever done anything because of the paycheck. It's just not in my nature. I didn't grow up with money. I don't. One could make a really good argument that I have no idea what the value of money is. For me, it's always been about the work and doing and being my own boss and doing what I want to do. And an opportunity came up way later to do my own thing, and that's what made me leave the show. I wound up coming back for the last 2 shows I did. I came back for, I don't know which season, might be 6 or 7. Hank's back, and the one with Luann inside the statue, inside the Texas.
Oh yeah, inside of Big Tex. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
Big
are
Tex,
the
yeah.
2 final episodes I did as far as just animation, just animation, not necessarily storyboarding or anything like that.
Right.
But I'd come back for a little bit just to do a couple things. But
So what was that big thing that pulled you away?
my own company.
Yeah.
My own company to do my own things. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure in the end it was very, very successful, but it definitely started me on the path to where I am now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like comics, and Mike actually hosts another podcast that's about comics. What comics have you worked on that people might recognize or even not recognize?
Oh my! I told this story recently on an AMA that I did in February.
I saw that this morning, by the way. I read all the way through that thing. Yeah. Yeah.
So then the comics I did.
A lot of toilet time in this house, Gary.
Huh?
A lot of toilet time in this house.
The comics I did like Green Lantern.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
awesome! Yeah, that's sick.
Green Lantern.
Yeah.
A lot of Green Lantern stuff for DC.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love DC. DC's my favorite like house of comics. I love Batman. I'm a big Batman fan.
I got into comics through the guy who would eventually get me a lot of that DC work, who would make the news years and years and years and years later as being a great big pedophile. So that was really, really fun. Anytime anybody's interested, just go ahead and Google Gerard Jones, and he was the one that got me a lot of my early work. And it turned out I wound up moving on to independent stuff, and I did work for Eclipse and that kind of thing. But a lot of my original work was written by a man by the name of Gerard Jones, who years later would have an investigation and be arrested for way too much child porn on his computer. It is out there. It is known. He has been since.
Yeah.
You're probably never going to see anything of his in DC published again, kind of thing. And that was my first big encounter of working on a project and then finding out someone else ruined the whole goddamn thing for everybody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that wouldn't be the last time I had that experience, but that was the first time I had it, and that was a hell of a thing. When I went back to comics, again, my thing was I just want to do my own thing, and that one I did. That was this one with 55, starring Gillian Anderson.
Yeah.
And that's a comic for charity. And I was working on the second issue, which had taken a while because I'm really bad when it's just me doing a comic, because I can get indecisive and I go, well, that works. I've changed my mind on things. I've done sequences and then not liked them. I work better sometimes with a partner because at least someone can focus me.
It's the focus and the accountability, right? I mean, the two things. Yeah.
And I was in the middle of number 2 when Jonathan passed away.
Yeah. You had reached out to him as far as being part of this project, right?
He was on Instagram.
Right.
Back when I had an Instagram, he was on Instagram, so I hit him up.
Yeah.
Did not expect anything of it.
Yeah. Same here, by the way, and we're not near your seat, but right. Same here. Yeah.
And he responded.
Yeah.
And I had if if anything should happen and I start getting emotional, let me get through it. I'll
I
get
got
through
you.
it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
But we just became friends on Instagram. We just talked, and I pitched the idea of having him be a character in 55, some kind of
Mhm.
indigenous character. I didn't have anything really planned. It was more like, hey, would you be interested in this kind of thing?
Yeah.
You know, and we arranged for a call, and he gave me a call one morning, and he thought it was an interesting idea, but he had something else he wanted to talk about. Whew. So my cat walked in, so I'm just kind of focusing on him right now.
There you go. What's your cat's name?
Daisy.
Daisy the cat.
Daisy, we thought he was a girl. He turned out being a boy, and we were just like, your name's Daisy. It's
That's great.
But anyway, we talked. He called me, and I remember I was sitting downstairs, and I was looking outside at the lake.
Yeah.
And he had complimented me on a couple of wall hangings we have of some Native American stuff, and he told me the story,
Right.
the outlines of the story.
Right.
And I remember thinking at the time, God damn, I didn't think I'd fucking get like this. I remember thinking at the time, it was like this weird out of body experience, man. I'm looking out over the lake and I'm listening to him, and I'm like, mother fucker, John Redcorn is just fucking spinning you a tale, man. Like, he's spinning you a tale. Like, it's the fucking wee hours of the morning, and fucking Ken Hatote is just sitting here fucking like.
Yeah.
And I was really aware of how lucky I was.
Yeah.
Now, let's not sugarcoat things. Jonathan also, because you can tell from talking to someone, especially when you're talking to them for a very long time, you can tell when someone has some stuff going on.
They had some demons.
Absolutely.
I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jonathan also was really good at what's the phrase? He never let the facts get in the way of a good story, and he had that worker mentality where he loved.
Yeah.
Like he would go. I remember a lot of the work you did on King of the Hill was really spectacular, and I was like, Jonathan, you remember a goddamn thing? Are you didn't know anything I did on King of the Hill? What are you talking about? Like, you know nothing I did on King of the Hill. We didn't know each other back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, half the time, I swear to God, he thought I was a writer, and he was like, and I was like, no, I just did the storyboard.
Sure.
But anyway, he told me the story, and I said we should. Fuck my idea. We should nurture this. Let's figure out where this goes.
Yeah.
And that's when we started messing each other back and forth. And he'd send me pictures, and I put together this folder of I wound up putting together after he passed all this folder of all the different messages and images he sent me, and he would just send images, you know. He would just open books, and like he would just want me to see different images and different patterns, and he would send me all these photos and texts and things he was thinking about, and he would sometimes just have questions like, should the cowboy character be black? You know, do we want to start that? And I'm like, I'm not sure that's our lane. That might be. I mean, yeah, okay, all right, we'll just make him white. You know, so there was a lot of exchange and stuff like that back and forth.
Right.
And we had the first issue more or less figured out in terms of things. I changed a few after he passed. I restructured a lot based upon the information that I had to include more in it. I had to change a bunch of stuff and restructure things, that kind of stuff. But the first issue was pretty done. And then the second was more like a blueprint, a guideline, because the first issue, the first story, I don't know how to describe them, parts, stories, acts, I don't know. But the first issue is them, the two main characters, and how they meet, how they get together. By the end of that issue, they are together in the same location. And the second issue is what they do together and the adventures they have together. And the third would be the end of it. And Jonathan knew specifically how he wanted each character to end. And I will say this right now, and maybe this will be played years from now. Given how Jonathan ended, I have mixed feelings on the ending. So and granted, we're not there yet. So
right.
I don't know. The one thing that I noticed a lot about this, which is different than anything else Jonathan related, is the Jonathan I knew was very funny.
Yeah.
He liked to keep it light.
Yeah.
This story is not light.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to inject levity in it here or there because Jonathan was he was funny. He liked being funny, and this was a very serious thing, I know. But goddamn, it's sometimes really fucking heavy, and that's one of the things I'm having a difficulty right now is trying to find that balance.
Sure.
Trying to find that balance.
I would imagine because I mean, just a year has passed, and you can wake up and say, "Oh my God, it's already been a year," or you can wake up and go, "What do I do with this now?" Because it's only been a year, and so it's really hard at those milestones. I don't know that I've ever felt that way when somebody passed necessarily, because I'm not a big like anniversary of people's death keeper, and that's only for me because I don't want to go back through it. I don't go to graveyards, and things like that. If it makes people feel better, great. Me, it does not. So I just don't do it, and it's not out of a sign of no respect or anything like that. It's just the fact that I can't necessarily handle it. Like last night, not to get too crazy heavy here, but I mean, my son has been through a lot of things, all self-induced, right? But watching a show last night, and I literally just handed the remote over to my wife and I said, "Listen, I can't watch this anymore because it's just too close to what happened." And so I had to move on, and that's me not necessarily punking out or anything on this show, because stupid show, who cares? But it strikes a nerve, every time I get close to any sort of subject that's kind of like what happened, it strikes a nerve and I have to move on. Otherwise I just walk around in misery all the time, and I can't do that.
And I think the hardest part about this whole fucking thing is, especially comics. What I've always loved about comics is you can do anything in comics. Like budget is not an issue. Whatever I can think of and draw,
sure,
that's the budget. So when you do comics, especially like this, I'm the set director, I'm the casting agent, I'm responsible for wardrobe. I'm responsible for the background. You immerse yourself in this world. There's no one else. And what's hard is every day I have it now scheduled so that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are art jobs I do for money for my friends. I ink a friend's strip. I'm doing something else with another friend. And then Thursday through Sunday is Jonathan's time. That's when I work on two sides to every coin. And I immerse myself in it, and living in Jonathan's world, having to basically go back there and you're in it, man. You're drawing and you're in it. There's no way not to be in it. Every line. I have a YouTube channel. I put process videos up. I show people when I draw. I'm not really a big fan of those process videos you see where where somebody takes 30 seconds and compacts like an entire day's of work into a little 30-second thing, so you see this thing come to life real fast. It's really cute, and I certainly understand why people do that, but the minutia is it's not that fast. It's line after line, dot after dot at a desk, living in this world, inhabiting this world, and it fucking takes a toll because
It does.
because you draw and you lose track of a number of times. Like, I'll just go, God, I could just call Jonathan before and just go explain this one thing real quick.
Yeah.
And that person isn't there anymore. Like, that's when it hit, and it happens a lot.
Right.
I'll be working, and I'll just be working and start fucking crying, and it's just like, fuck. And something that a lot of people are not going to want to hear, and I don't mean to piss off people. This is just my opinion. I'm an atheist. I don't. That is just my personal belief.
Sure.
I have Christian friends who I love and adore, and they are wonderful people.
Absolutely.
And if that is your belief, God bless you. That's not my belief. So, while there are some who will say things like, Jonathan's looking down over you and blah, blah, blah. I think where it hits me the most is, for me, and why I get so emotional for it is because, for me, no matter how good I do this, if I even am able to pull it off to be good, no matter how proud I am of it, he's not going to see it.
Yeah.
And I hate that. And I do. And look,
I would think at a certain point, though, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I would think at a certain point, it's his wish that the fans see it.
Yeah,
I would more than anything. I mean, because a performer his entire life for the most part, and so I would think it's more important to him that the fans see it.
And I think that's why after he the morning it happened, I was sleeping, and I woke up, and I have a tendency to grab my phone when I wake up, and I just kind of lay there in bed.
Yeah, sure.
And I opened up Reddit, and I don't know if it was the algorithm, perhaps, but fuck, the first fucking story on Reddit, the way I opened it up, the first thing I'm hit with when I wake up, Jonathan Joss killed. And I remember thinking, wait, what? Like it was just,
yeah.
And I knew he was, because I talked to him a couple of days before that, and he said he was going back, and he's going back to his property. He had to pick up a check, and I was like, why?
Yeah.
And that's all I could think of. And I was like, what the? And you just numb. You just completely fucking numb.
Yeah.
And
we were like you say, the last ones to talk to him as far as professionally goes, I think, as like an interview kind of thing. And we got up the next day, and I remember Rusty sent me something about he thought it had happened, because we really didn't know there for a few hours, and so I can remember thinking, oh my God, what do I do with this interview now? Because it almost didn't seem fair to post it, but it almost seemed like that was what I was supposed to do at the same time, right? Because I had felt that, and I think Rusty feels the same way. We felt it went really, really well.
Yeah. All things considered with Jonathan, as far as keeping him focused,
yes,
and keeping him on track, It did.
Well, he got to tell his story because there was so much like negative media about the incident at the theater, and I felt like it did justice to him because it allowed him to tell how he felt he was represented, even though like the powers that be that picked that were probably Hulu and probably had nothing to do with anybody that had
Yeah.
anything to do with the show itself. You know, I could see how he felt so passionately about King of the Hill that it,
keep in
it
mind,
affected
like
him
he
so
said,
greatly.
like he said, they based. He was John Redcorn. They took aspects of his life,
Yeah.
and applied them.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and he loved that character. He loved acting. He loved making people laugh. He loved all that stuff.
It was
And
the
I
same,
know
same with
and he
Dale.
felt-
I wish we would have gotten to talk to Dale before.
Yeah.
You know,
and he did feel a little bit hurt. But
Yeah.
you know, he also was going through some stuff, and I remember I didn't know what was going to happen to our thing because I hadn't processed anything yet, and it wasn't even until a day later where I realized he even talked about the project on your interview, and that
Yeah, absolutely.
and I heard that
God, he was so excited too.
because. And I almost told him, I never did. I almost told him the last time I said, hey, you should mention our thing. But I was like, nah, what a selfish douchebag. I'm not gonna fucking no, just do your own thing. Just make it about you. Don't worry about our thing.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. And he still fucking did it.
Yeah.
And when I heard it, that's when I was like, well, I gotta do it, right? Like and couple of publishers, different publishers that I know, reached out to me, and they were like, "Do you have enough to do it?" And I said, "Yeah."
Right.
And they were very nice. They were like, although I am convinced that even though they don't say it, every publisher that hit me up is secretly mad at me because I didn't go with them. Not and it was never ever, it wasn't personal, it wasn't greedy, it was that every publisher that hit me up, God bless them, nobody did anything wrong, nobody was mean, but everybody had an angle they wanted to play on it. Like, you know, if we do it June 1st, we can capitalize on Pride, and Jonathan had come out, and it would have been his first month as Pride Month. And what you need to do, and I remember putting together the Kickstarter, and it was very, very. When I'm getting out of order here, but I went to his wake in San Antonio, which was the next week after he passed,
Right.
which was crazy because Tristan called and told me we're gonna have this gathering. I think I found out like 2 days beforehand.
Right.
And I looked at my girl and she's like, we really should be there. And I go, you want to drive to Texas like with this short notice?
Yeah.
And she said, we should. And I said, maybe, okay. All right, we can do this. And the drive was crazy because I was not operating on a lot of sleep.
Sure.
We drove straight through, and halfway through the drive, Tristan called me, and I think we wound up talking on the phone for almost 3 hours on the drive there. He just needed to talk to somebody and or have somebody listen to him. Got there, and it was nice, and the gathering to get together. I met Tristan in person, and that was nice. And I don't want to, it's very important for me to clarify as someone who very, very, very much considers himself an LGBTQ ally and someone who will defend the rights of gays and trans people everywhere.
Absolutely.
It's as someone who is, it makes me uncomfortable to take advantage of that in this kind of, I it's very important that I'm not, see, I'm just the opposite. I don't want to capitalize.
Yeah.
And I was told, I remember putting the Kickstarter together, And I remember going, I want to do this my way. I want to do this my way. No cash grabs, no exploitation, no. And everybody was telling me, you need more color, more pride on the Kickstarter. I think it would. And I said, look, don't get me wrong. There's gay stuff in the book. It's addressed because Jonathan had that, and but this is not something I want to exploit pride for. This is not something I want to do different variant covers. We'll have a variant cover of Jonathan with this. We'll have a King of the Hill variant. I hate fucking variants. It's not necessary that I have 5 different covers so I can make a lot of money. And in fact, one of the publishers, very good-naturedly, very good. This wasn't a bad thing.
Right.
Congratulations on the Kickstarter. They go, man, we would have made so much more money had you gone with us. And I'm like, look, all I want is, first of all, if the Kickstarter had made a shitload of money, I just would have cut it in half and give it to Tristan and fucking taken just my printing money. Yeah. But all I want is just a little amount of money to print this thing. I'm not even putting the amount that I get for doing this thing. I don't give a shit about that.
Right.
I had the way I want to do it. I got Jonathan's words to work with. I got his ideas to work with. I got references to work with. I want to put this thing together his way, how he would have wanted it. It's extreme. It's bloody. It's an R-rated comic. And I could have no interference. And I knew that if I'd gone with any publisher, God bless them, there's always strings. There's always things that. So doing it myself, I knew was going to be infinitely harder. Once I realized I had to do it, hearing him talk about it, hearing him say he did not want to be erased, please don't erase me. I realized, okay, I really have to sit down and make sure this is done properly. So that's what this is. This is just me fulfilling my promise to my friend, doing our project the way it should be done, and with no corporate interference, nobody over my shoulder telling me maybe you want to change this, maybe you want to alter that. I may not get everything right, and people have asked. Someone on Kickstarter asked, how much of this is Jonathan? This whole thing exists. Because of Jonathan.
Right.
This whole thing exists because Jonathan made it public. I don't know I would have done this. I probably not would have done this if Jonathan did not mention it, because I think people would have looked at me like, what are you trying to capitalize? Yeah. Like if Jonathan hadn't said anything, I would have went, wow, I'm not sure I could pull this off. So that's where we are. I said, I'm going to do this. I'll do it on my own.
Right.
I told the story on the Kickstarter. And I said, I'm going to trust people to, if they're interested in this, there's not a whole lot of options. There's a digital one and a physical one. And I'm not trying to cash grab anyone. I'm not. There's an option for if you want a sketch cover, which some people really, really want, and it's the only variant that I believe in because it's a piece of original, one of a kind.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll kick ass for those people, but I ain't trying to fucking cash grab, man. $5 digital, $10 physical. That's your admission to getting a glimpse into this world.
Sure.
And of a duo on their last ride together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we, not to belabor the point here, but we felt a bit of that, and we didn't even really know Jonathan other than, sitting down and talking to him. But we got accused of trying to capitalize on it as well.
Absolutely.
How did that happen?
Well, it was with the YouTube stuff, so we got a lot of comments, and we actually got hit up by media outlets that we turned down. There's things that we didn't do because already there was people commenting on our video and on some of the TikTok stuff that we had posted talking about, oh, you're just trying to capitalize, and it was more about memorializing than capitalizing. It was somebody that, I mean, I grew up on King of the Hill. I was a child when it came out. I was a young kid, and I grew up as into a teenager, and now I'm a 30-year-old man, and they came back with the show again. So it's like my whole life has existed around this show, and it's been something that has been a constant theme in my show. So it's like, to say that is like, it almost, you know, it's hurtful, because I don't do any of this. Nothing that we do around this podcast has ever been about $1 or a dime. We've been doing it for 4 years, and we've lost more money than we've ever made on this podcast. We've spent more money to do anything with it than we ever got out of it.
Yeah.
And we don't do it for that. We do it for conversations like this. We do it for conversations like we have with Jonathan. We do it for conversations that we've had with other creators and stuff that are in the King of the Hill world. So it's just, I don't know. It was really hurtful to hear that stuff. And I admire you for going that route as well, because it's so easy to take the route of, hey, let's go the money route. You know, it's so easy to just say, all right, I'm going to do this and sign on the dotted line and lose the soul of everything. And that's what I appreciate about you, Gary, is that you're keeping the final encore for Jonathan pure, and that's beautiful.
It's important, especially nowadays, when every fucking thing they can squeeze a dime out of, they are doing. Everything, everywhere you look, the enshedification of everything going on, everything with subscription fees, every nickel and diming, everything. We just got back from Vegas. We had to go see my brother-in-law, and the nickel and diming in general in society of everything. So the last thing I was going to do, and I try to do the same thing with my YouTube. Look, man, just gives people stuff to watch. I ain't trying to fucking gatekeep shit. It's ridiculous. I just wanted this thing to be a pure artistic expression of something, and That's all I'm going to do with this thing. That's it. Yeah. This thing, Tristan, as far as I'm concerned, this was 50-50, me and Jonathan. So now it's anything that happens, it's 50-50, me and Tristan.
That's great.
Because that's what Jonathan would have wanted, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Tristan's okay, you know, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
He's pretty much what you could imagine the most traumatic fucking thing that could happen to somebody happened to Tristan.
Right.
Like what? No matter how you feel about the situation, Tristan legitimately watched his husband shot and killed in front of him. No matter where you fall in this thing, that is indisputable. And Tristan held his husband in his arms when he died, and that is indisputable.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you realize that, but that kind of fucks you up, and quite possibly could fuck you up for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah.
Absolutely, very easily.
And Tristan knows where I stand. You know, I keep you guys informed, and I talk to him as well, and talk to them, and Tristan's just trying to get through.
Yeah,
and he knows he has a seat at the table whenever he wants creatively. I have told him several times he is welcome to the decision-making process.
Yeah.
I welcome anyone who knew Jonathan. A guy I know named Joshua has been incredibly helpful. Joshua used to hang out with Jonathan.
Okay.
And,
actually, I've been in contact with Joshua. Yeah,
Joshua's
he's been
a good
talking
dude
to me.
There are people out there who help me in terms of help me see different aspects of Jonathan that I didn't see. Yeah. And bring different things to the character, because obviously the Native American character in the book is kind of an avatar of Jonathan. He's become more of an avatar of Jonathan since Jonathan's passing.
Sure.
But so any stories, anything like that, the details that get worked in are from people who knew Jonathan. I'm trying to make Jonathan's dogs are part of the dogs were not part of the story before. They were never part of the story. That's cool though. But once he passed, I'm putting the fucking dogs in. Yeah. I don't care how accurate it is. I'm putting the dogs in.
That's great.
So this project lives because of Jonathan. This project lives because Jonathan mentioned it on your show. This interview is being done because it's your show. this project will be done because it was brought to life because of your show.
Well, thank you.
And that's
I
why,
appreciate that.
again, keeping it pure, that's why I wasn't interested in doing other podcasts. That's why I wasn't interested in going anywhere else. This is where it started. This is where it will evolve. And as it progresses, this is where it'll be discussed.
Gary, I
That's
don't think
important.
you understand how big an honor that is for us. It was an honor to be the last ones to talk to Jonathan, and it's an honor to talk to you today. And it's weird. Like you said, it's a weird place to live, right? In that everybody sees you as trying to profit off of this or whatever. I recorded a bunch of little vertical videos just in my truck, honestly, that morning when we were finding out.
I saw some of those, yeah.
I just didn't want anybody to think that we were trying to do anything. You know, we were as shocked as anybody else. And I told you before we came on here that there were two ways I could have gone with the interview. And one, you know, we just met this guy. I didn't know him from Adam. You know, the only thing I knew about him was what I saw on the TV screen.
Yep.
And so, you know, I could have been, what is going on with you? Why did you act that way? That kind of thing. And thank God we decided to do it this way. It was more of like, who are you? Thank you for being here. Tell us all about you, you know? And I think that resonated with a lot of folks. There's a lot of folks that we were in contact with afterwards that don't want their names mentioned or things like that. But one in particular I can think of reached out to me who would be a name that everybody knows, would be somebody who had a lot of fond pictures and memories and things of not only Jonathan, but other people. And I just want to say how much I appreciate being trusted with that information. You know, it feels like a real honor to be passed kind of I feel like I'm part of this weird King of the Hill family now, you know.
You are.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, we're in Waco, Texas. You know,
yeah, the surrealness of it is insane. I just got through working like a 12-hour shift at a factory, and now I'm having conversations with people who were a part of a show. Dude, you don't know how the shows that you created, like the episodes that you were particularly a part of, you don't know how many times I've over 1,000 times I've seen those episodes. That is a show that it's pretty much known by our fans. I like to smoke pot, and that's one of the shows that was a huge show. You know, like me and a buddy of mine, we always say, I love you, Dad. Well, hell, I love you. You know, I love you, Bobby. Hell, I love you too, Dad. That was something we always say to each other, you know. So there's just so much of this show that is a big part of my life. And now I'm a part of that. It's just, dude, it's surreal. It's still like when I talk about it to my friends and to like people at work and stuff that watch the show, like I don't think they understand really truly the impact of these types of conversations and these types of relationships that have been built. I'm just a blue collar guy that started a podcast with some random dude from the internet, and me and Mike became good friends over the last 4 years. But that's literally what it was. Mike was like, "Hey, I want to do podcasts," and I met with him, and then this is what it became. And I don't know. I appreciate you, Gary, so much more than like I could express like in words. You've given us a gift, and I want to, you know, just thank you for that. It's allowing us to be a part of something that means so much to me, like personally. Like I could never there's not enough words in a dictionary for me to thank you or describe how I feel about it.
There's nothing more impressive in my office than that blown up picture that you drew for us. And it's for two things, right? It's for two things. One, you took the time to do it, and it's fucking gorgeous, right? I love it. I look at it almost every day. I think about the luck of being there, the luck of you reaching out, the luck of being able to talk to everyone else. And that's the gift that Jonathan gave us. But then I also think you told us that you never really drew John Redcorn.
No.
And so,
No.
so for you to
Of
draw
all the episodes I told you about, they weren't John's.
Yeah.
I didn't have any of the Johnny Redcorn
yeah,
centric episodes.
when I look at that, I see not only did one of the artists that we admire from King of the Hill draw this, especially for us, but he also took the time to draw in his friend who must have been hard to draw. And I can't imagine the amount of emotions and just time it took to draw him also. I think that was probably a big deal. And so, Gary, I think about that all the time, and there is nothing in my office that means more to me than that.
Yeah, that picture means a lot to me too, because like every time I look at it, it's like a forever. You know,
Yeah.
I'm there immortalized with
more of a
John
photo.
Redcorn.
It's more of a
forever.
photo than a drawing. You know, it feels like a snap in time. You know. Sorry, Rusty, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, it
No,
just
you're
feels like a snapshot of time. You know.
That's what it feels like for me. It's
I
just
love it.
like, you know, no matter when I'm long gone, that's forever in the digital world. There's me
Oh, yeah.
with one of my favorite characters from my favorite show that of all time. You know, it's just the beauty of it.
I've said many times that, you know, I started a little podcast network, and I've been lucky enough to do this for about 6 years, and we've really grown and grown and grown. But again, the only reason I do any of this is so that when I'm gone, my kids can look back and go, oh yeah, that idiot was our dad, and he did a bunch of weird stuff. And look, something's immortalized here, you know? And so that's just one more thing in this cavalcade of stuff that shows people who I was at that time, who I was lucky enough to meet, and who I was lucky enough to be gifted something by. And so, again, not to pour it on too thick, but we just, I can't imagine a situation where I wouldn't say thank you many, many times.
Who's overwhelming? Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It really is. I don't. I apologize. I don't know how to take this kind of stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. This.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one.
To those who feel this exists. This whole thing exists because of Jonathan. And
that's exactly right.
I am so grateful that you guys. I will always consider you guys. You guys are always the go-to. You guys are always, if I need to say something, if I need to get something across, it's just easier for me to go. I'll do it there. I have no interest in doing it anywhere else.
Anything we can do to help. Okay, so let's get on to a little bit happier tunes. Where are we at with the Kickstarter, and what else needs to be done?
Well, this is by the time when this airs, this will be like the last couple of days of the Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. We got funded in 3 days. So I remember when we were trying to orchestrate this, I remember telling Rusty, we got funded. So if you can't make it, if we can't do the show, we can always move it to another time. I don't want people to think I'm doing this just for the Kickstarter thing. Like the Kickstarter is funded. If y'all want to see the result, you can check it out. I'm sure the link will be in the video somewhere or on the bottom somewhere or that kind of thing, or I'll grab a copy of it and put it on my YouTube or whatever the hell it is.
Put it in there.
And that will be the printing of the book, and I am working on the book, and I will continue working on the book through this year. And by the end of the year, I'd like to have everything done. And at the printers, my printer is local. Again, that was another thing I wanted that was important to me, was I have a local printer.
Yeah.
I don't got to worry about tariffs overseas. I don't got to worry about anything getting complicated, getting stuck at ports. Sure. Which I see it happening to a lot of other comic creators who go overseas. My printer is half hour away, so I get to, they're the same ones that did 55, so I trust them. I can go over there. I can look at the master. I can flip through it. I can change anything that needs to be changed last minute. And I wanted this thing. I want to know what the inside front cover looks like, inside back cover, the back cover. Every page is accounted for. Every single page will be accounted for. I wanted to be the symbolic with like the metaphorical last hands on the book. You know, you got to have that before it goes to the printer.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it, and I cannot wait for people to see it. I don't think anyone expects what this is. This has evolved a little, obviously, since Jonathan's passing. I'm putting more work into it. I'm changing a few things, tweaking a few things. This thing visually is going to be a feast, and I can't wait to see what people have think about it. I do. You know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Well, I can't wait to read it. I love comic books, and lately I've been reading Absolute Batman and the Absolute stuff from DC. But I'm hanging on the edge of my seat, ready for this. Like it'll be epic, I'm sure. Yeah, I cannot wait.
So we would love to have you on again. You know, sometime when we get a little closer to getting this thing out. If you've got any big milestones or anything, please give us a heads up. You know, or a shout out. And
I will have a YouTube channel. I'll put as much process stuff as we go. There's a playlist that I actually, if you go to twosidesteverycoin.com, I actually have that go right to the playlist on YouTube. And The Last Western goes to the Kickstarter. That's kind of what I'm calling the whole. At some point, everything will be compiled into a big book, and it'll be called The Last Western.
Sure.
And but that's then. This is now. We're going to get through book 1 first, and for any progress, like I said, check out my YouTube, or I will keep you guys informed. That's really it.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, anytime you want to come on to talk about anything, you know, if you just want to shoot the shit with this man, you have an open invitation anytime.
Anytime you get, you know, it's something you guys may want to consider. If you ever want to do like watch along for certain episodes, I will totally do behind the scenes. I know Pretty Dresses is like a big episode. That was the episode that made me an assistant director. I read that script. They were trying to get me to do assistant directing stuff, and I didn't want to do it because the higher up you get, the less you draw.
Sure.
And that's a drag.
Let's take you out of it. Yeah.
So I remember fighting it, but then I read the script of Pretty Dresses, and I was like, motherfucker, I gotta do this, right? Like this is like one of the most incredible fucking scripts I have ever read.
Yeah, that's a good episode.
I told this story on the AMA. It was written by Paul Lieberstein, who is Toby. Office. Oh, I got a really good story for you guys before we close. We went to screen the animatic, and afterwards I went to the restroom, and I'm sitting there peeing at the urinal, and fucking Paul walks in, and he's next to me, and I go, "Hey man, I want you to know your script is the reason I decided to take up the assistant director thing. Your script was absolutely incredible." And he thanked me, and I realized I'm thanking this guy while peeing. I probably shouldn't be doing that.
Well, don't feel too bad, because Mike shook Ted Nugent's hand right after he got through rocking a whiz. So.
Yeah, that was something else.
But there is one thing that I thought was really neat. I don't have it on me, sorry, but King of the Hill every year would do these yearly awards.
Okay.
And they called them the Swampies.
So like Dungeons.
They were named after Swampy Marsh.
Yeah.
Who worked on King of the Hill, and Swampy would eventually go on to create, I want to say, Phineas and Ferb.
Oh wow.
Swampy, they were these goofy little variety of little bad trophies. But anyway, they would give these playful awards out every year to the crew for different types of imaginary awards. For example, I won once for best storyboard covers. When you finish a storyboard, you have the option. You certainly don't have to. You can make a little cover for it with the episode title and everything. And I used to spend way too much fucking time doing the covers. With my logic being, if they really like the cover, it'll distract them from the fact that storyboard's not that good. But anyway, they called them the Swampies. Every year they'd hold the awards. I got to win a Swampy. The producer of the executive producer of King of the Hill was Greg Daniels.
Yeah.
Greg Daniels would go on to be the executive producer of The Office.
Mhm.
What was one of the main storylines in The Office that recurred a lot? It was the Dundie Awards, these
Yeah.
awards that were given out to the employees. So
Yeah.
the Swampies were the early OG Dundie Awards in real life that they would give to people for different reasons. I got to win a Swampy for best storyboard. So
That's
King of the
awesome.
Hill
That's awesome.
is the beginning of the original Dundies. That is where the Dundies come from.
When you
You know, I
accepted,
bet
when you
I was gonna
accepted,
say.
did you say, "I feel God in this Chili's tonight"?
No, because there was no office then. There was no office,
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, imagine if you pour over all of King of the Hill and like you do a real deep dive, like of stuff that Greg Daniels had a lot, like just the stuff that he touched a lot of. I bet if you look at it, you probably see a lot of parallel in the other
By
stuff
the way,
he's
there's also at least 2 Simpsons jokes I know that made it into King of the Hill as well. So
Really?
they did that too. So
Yeah. It's pretty amazing how it kind of, the more I learn about comics and the more I go down that road with my friend Zach on the other show, the more I realize this is like a big brotherhood, you know, and it feels like to me that, well, it's a big brotherhood where everybody hates each other, but on top of that,
it's clicky.
right. Understood.
The Caltech click. I did a podcast with an animator named John Fountain. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he does a lot of behind the scenes stuff these days. So he was the guy who polished the pilot for Rick and Morty, so Rick and Morty could go to air.
Okay.
But I did a podcast with him, and that's what he always said is that when he was at Nickelodeon in the early days, he worked on Wild Thornberries, and he said that when he was there, he didn't go to Caltech. He was just some country hick from Kalamazoo, Michigan, that worked on newspaper comics and like said, I want to try this thing and move to LA. But that's one thing that he always said about the industry as a whole is there's always the cliques, and a lot of the cliques end up being like collegiate, like guys who all went to college together. And it's like the outsiders that come in like and kind of try to make their way kind of thing.
I'm sure it's kind of like comedy with Harvard, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah. Well, thank you again for
thank
your
you.
time
No,
today.
Seriously. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for interviewing Jonathan. Thank you guys for allowing him to say what he said.
Oh man.
This project doesn't exist were it not for that. Thank you, because as this project evolves and grows and becomes tangible, you guys get to say you played a very, 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 very pivotal role in this. You really can.
Such a freaking honor, man. I really appreciate it, and I hope that I hope this grows into a friendship because you seem like my kind of guy. I love the fact that you get choked up about this project, which means you are in this thing 1,000%.
Oh, I am.
And,
yes.
It's easy. I taught art for a little bit, which by no means puts me on any kind of anything. But I love to draw. I hate painting.
Yeah, don't let Mike fool you. Mike is a very, very creative human being. Like look at what he created. He created an entire podcast network.
There you go, Mike.
He's got a big creativity.
The thing is, Gary, like sees like, that kind of thing. And I understand what it's like to remind yourself to breathe whenever you're drawing or things like that. And so I just love the fact that there are other people on the planet who feel that same way. And because you feel like a freaking weirdo sometimes, doing these things. Yeah. And then to see anybody to look at it and go, oh, that's nice. You're just like, oh crap. Okay. Well, I guess I am okay. It just, and I don't care how successful you get. I'm sure it's always there. It's always in the back of your head. Was that good enough? What else could I have done? Things like that. So, but I know that Jonathan would be extremely proud of what you're doing. And I want to say, Tristan, invitation's always open, and I'm happy to just talk if you want to. It doesn't have to be on a camera.
Yeah, Tristan, if you're watching this, every single person here loves the shit out of you, man.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. I only met you for a hour or so, but we talked for a couple of minutes, and you were very kind. And if Jonathan loved you, then you're okay by me. You know, I mean, that's all it comes down to. You know, sometimes you just have to have people vouch for you. You know, and Jonathan vouched for us that night, and so I do appreciate that too. So, but Gary, thank you so much, man. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday with us, and we hope to see you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
All right, man. Well, have a lovely Sunday.
You guys too.
All right, we'll see you later.
Yes,
Bye.
sir.
Bye. Okay. Well, there you go, Rusty.
That was it.
Gary was kind enough to give us quite a bit of time, and
I appreciate every second.
I'm extremely excited about the project and how we get to see it kind of come together. And I think there's really just one thing left to say.
Well, you know, it would have to be Wimatanye.
Wimatanye, indeed. Everybody, take care of yourself.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.